Greetings everyone, just want to do a little tutorial on how to change the oil on a 2016 Audi S3. My car, I bought it new and it came with a 5,000 mile complimentary service which I had performed at Audi. So I'm going to upload the service schedule here so you can see exactly what they did. And basically for $285 they did a tire rotation, which my car actually didn't need because I had the snow tires on. They did the oil change and then the quote-unquote multi-point inspection, which is basically put it on the lift, look it over for any abnormalities or any broken parts, stuff like that, which on a 5,000 mile vehicle clearly they're not going to find anything. So I have about 10,000 miles now. The manual says that these cars are good to go a 10,000 mile oil change interval, which would put me at 15 for the next oil change. And I probably could go that far, but I drive it pretty hard, and I mean, for me, it's just this is peace of mind. I've always been more of a more frequent oil change interval kind of person. I think 5,000 with a synthetic interval is plenty. There's no question you can push it to 10,000, but it just seems unnecessary in my opinion. So basically, I kind of want to see for myself how it was to change the oil in this, and it was pretty simple. So I had actually asked the techs over at Audi how they typically do it, because there is a drain plug in this thing that's plastic and they say they don't even mess with it. So they evacuate it from the top. So I'm going to show a quick video of how I did that, and then the links of where you can actually get the parts to do it. Alright, so first things first, if you're going to do your own oil change, you're going to have to get your parts. I managed to actually just get mine straight from Audi because I didn't want to deal with getting the wrong filter through Amazon or whatnot, and I wanted to make sure that I got an approved Volkswagen Audi oil, so I figured what better place than to get it from them. My sales receipt here, it cost me about $55 for the parts. Frankly, I think that's pretty reasonable, especially considering, for a glorified oil change and tire rotation, they wanted to charge me $285. Granted, that was complimentary, but that's a lot of money, especially, this took me about 20 minutes. Anybody can do it. It's really not complicated. All right, once you've got the cover removed, the way I decided to do it was use your evacuator. So basically just remove your dipstick. You're just gonna slide the tube for the evacuator all the way to the bottom so you feel it bottom out. And as far as changing the filter goes, I believe this is a 32 millimeter socket that you can put on there. You could use an adjustable wrench, but you really do risk slipping off of it, and then it is plastic, you could damage it. I'd recommend getting a hold of like a cheap Craftsman socket or something, and just make sure that it fits on there nice and snug. There is a torque specification on here which makes it nice, so if you don't know how to tighten it properly, you can use that. Obviously, being a mechanic, I tighten hundreds of these every month, so I have a pretty good muscle memory on how tight it should be. But I would definitely recommend for the beginner, if you're just starting off, you can get a good cheap quality torque wrench that at least is sufficient enough to torque this. Craftsman, or worst case Harbor Freight, but you can usually get a cheap Craftsman torque wrench. I mean, it's a good thing to have if you're going to be working on your car, and especially if you're going to do your own tire rotations and stuff like that. I definitely recommend that. So realistically, for the investment of $100, maybe $200 worth of tools, you'd end up paying off the cost of the tools in your first or second Audi service. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys what evacuator I use at my shop. This is an air-powered fluid evacuator. As you can see, it's about $100. It's a nice unit. It easily holds the 6 quarts that the Audi takes. I would definitely recommend getting a full-size unit like this. I know there's a lot of cheaper ones that don't hold as much oil, but then you're going to have to stop midway to empty it, and you're probably just going to make a mess. Now, for someone who might not have an air compressor or want something that's a little more simple, then I would recommend this pump-style fluid evacuator. It's about the same price, but the nice thing is you can use it for other yard projects too, moving other fluids that you may have to move. You can also pump out from this one as well. And if you don't have the money for a fluid evacuator, you could probably even siphon the oil out if you got some cheap tubing from Home Depot and you had an oil drain pan on the ground. Once you get the siphon going, as long as the oil is really, really hot. So the key to this oil change is make sure the car is up to operating temperature before you try to change it, and make sure to use a lot of rags, especially when you go to remove that oil filter housing. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to show that in the video because I was trying to work in the footage I did take, so I had some other things going on. But keep some rags handy, make sure the oil's warm, and it's a pretty simple oil change. Now, the only caveat in doing all of your own maintenance is that obviously you're not going to have the documentation from the dealer if you were to sell the car. There is a value to that. I don't feel that the value on that is anywhere near it would be if you have an exotic like a Ferrari or Lamborghini, where the service records are almost like a certificate of authenticity on cars like those. You know, as nice of a car as this is, it is still the daily driver. You know, if some maintenance is skipped here or there, the average person buying it probably isn't gonna not buy it because of that. Obviously, it does help your case, you know, if you do go to the dealer and you get these things stamped. But as I've kind of pointed out, some of these things that are sort of fluff, like my upcoming 15,000 mile service, which is basically a pollen filter and oil change, lubricate the door hinges, and check the sunroof, that's $445. I'm not going to the dealer for that. I mean, they're not even including a tire rotation for that kind of money, which I think is crazy. The other thing you can do, you know, if you don't feel like you want to do your own maintenance and you don't want to pay the Audi prices, find a good shop, you know, preferably an independent that comes recommended. Get to know the mechanic, you know, build a relationship with them. You're gonna save yourself a lot of money. You'll be able to kind of get educated on how the car works, and it's just gonna be a better experience for you. So, you know, as a tech, I definitely recommend, you know, having a good relationship with the mechanic, and it's just gonna be better for you for the life of your vehicle. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I really enjoy making videos about car maintenance and stuff. I mean, this is the stuff I'm passionate about. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a comment. And if there's anything you have any questions on, I can go over that with you further. So take care.